Hello, worldies, and welcome back to the channel. I hope that you are doing amazing today. Today, I want to make a video based on a comment that I received from one of my supporters requesting that I talk a little bit more about female friendship for pretty women and why is it such a big, dramatic thing? Why do we always have PTSD? Why is it so hard? And I have a lot of experience with this, and so I want to just share some things as far as why I think we have so many issues. I think one of the main issues is that, I think that in society, pretty women are often stereotyped as the pick-me's, the hyper-feminine stereotype, or the hyperfeminine archetype is typically associated with, being dense, being a little aloof, being, ignorant, naive, and whatnot, being a bit self-centered and selfish in, a careless way, a haphazard way, not even necessarily malicious, although there are many examples in media where this is the case, where, it's a pretty mean girl. The most popular girl is the thinnest, the prettiest, the one who, is just pedestalized. She's always looked at as the hyper feminine one, the pretty girl. And a lot of times I think that society, gives conflicting messages about what the pretty girl represents to them. On one hand, we do represent, desirability and whatnot. But to an extent, because of the hyperfemininity aspect of it, typically, depending on how high or low maintenance you are, what type of beauty archetype you're representing, while you may represent desirability, you may also represent exclusivity at the same time. And so for many women, I think that they're conditioned into being male-centered and also wanting to signal desirability, but not also signal the exclusivity. So that's what's going to set you apart oftentimes, because she's pretty, but she wants to look like girl next door pretty. She wants to look like accessible pretty. She wants to look like Chili's on a Tuesday night pretty. She wants to look like take me for a walk in the park pretty, versus, maybe you have your sight set just a bit higher. You just have different social climbing goals. You have different health goals, different beauty goals. Oftentimes this other women, or this other woman, she feels pride in, she wants to humble brag about how little it takes to maintain her. And, she is, I feel as though in a world where we have filters, we have lighting, we have editing apps, we have, fillers, we have cosmetic procedures, we have plastic surgery, we have, enhancements, all these different things. She basically wants to act like we don't live in that world. She wants to put in the least amount of work and get the biggest benefits. And so that type of woman, she's not okay oftentimes with the type of pedestal that she receives, the type of position and, the status that she's receiving as a result of her lifestyle that she cultivates, the pedestal that she's building for herself, her beauty archetype and what's associated with it, the way that she navigates the world looking like that. Instead of just being satisfied with that, like I said, she wants to do the least amount of work and get the biggest result. So she wants to be the biggest, but get treated like she's the most petite. She wants to, be the loudest, but be treated like she's the meekest. She wants to, I am a big believer in just noticing that people will come to you for different reasons. That type of woman, oftentimes, she doesn't have an outlet where she's getting the type of validation where she wants, unless she's slipping off into some sort of fantasy world where she's like obsessing, obsessing over the book talk girls who start getting a little crazy. It's okay to read. Reading is cool. Literacy is super important. Like, don't ever let somebody like me, who's talking with a black accent half of the time, try to tell you anything about education and literacy. Like, that is top notch, like top tier, of the utmost importance, of course. But I feel like, sometimes if she's not able to get the validation where in the in her real life, she's living as a main character and she's seeing her beauty being validated in the way that she wants, whether it's through friendship, whether it's through the media, whether it's through dating, whether it's through opportunities in the workplace, and just her day-to-day experience of pretty privilege or having the lack thereof, or experiencing a different type or form, she's then looking to other places to see it be validated. So that energy goes to different places. It may go to men where she's trying to guilt and shame them for what they desire, and for the women that they choose to chase and pedestalize. They will say, well, I'm this type of woman, but men keep chasing that type of woman. And they're going to go say that to men as if that's going to change anything. Like, that's not about to do nothing. And, if they can't do that, obviously they don't want to change themselves because they feel superior. They have a sense of entitlement. They resent the world around them. They resent the media for not paying attention to women like them. That's why they're so cruel when there's a woman who represents, a different type of celebrity or a different type of beauty archetype, and she's getting all of those. Like, if you wonder where all of these hate comments come from, the attempts to dox, where the, just really blatant cruelty that comes to these beautiful, pretty women, when that's happening, that's because there are women who are perceiving them and they resent that. They feel like what they're experiencing is envy. It's not jealousy, which exists as a pathway to show you what you desire, maybe what you lack, and you can use it to align your goals and your focus and your trajectory forward towards eventually actually acquiring that thing that you want and securing it for yourself. And being able to then tell other people, like, yeah, if you're jealous of what I have, like, hey, I used to feel like that. It becomes like more of a domino effect type of energy, like a each one teach one, like a pass it on, take one, pass it on type of thing. Jealousy is more of like an inspiring type of energy, when you channel it positively. But envy, that's a very heavy, stuck, a sticky type of energy. It can, it's like a residue, if you can think of like something waxy on your fingers, that's almost like, it's hard to get it off of you once you pick it up. It takes a lot of work to get out of that mindset, because it is a muscle. Like, when it comes to emotional intelligence and the pathways in your brain and how you process emotions, how you respond to the things that you see in the outside world, you do have to train your emotions when it comes to, different personality types and whatnot. Like, if you're talking about like the MBTI, like the Myers-Briggs indicator, or even different things as far as like being extroverted, introverted, the stuff with astrology and all those different things. There are ways to categorize the ways that you process and that you respond to the world around you. And while certain things are, I want to say you have a predisposition to express yourself in a certain type of way. I also think that with self-awareness, you can build different pathways, patterns, and habits, different forms of interacting in, ways that you'll bounce off of the world around you, different ways that you'll react to the same stimulus over time. That can happen. When it comes to envy, you're exercising the muscle of, when these women, they're exercising the muscle of resentment. They're constantly, they're going through this loop where they see somebody who's experiencing what they want, right? It's okay to want it. The desire is not what's wrong. But then they start having, this whole cycle that goes through all of these thoughts that pop in any particular order, maybe some of them, maybe all of them, but they have the desire, then one, they feel guilt and shame for the desire, and then they're looking at the woman, you on the pedestal, experiencing, reaping the benefits of whatever this thing is. You're walking in that season of your life. You have that thing that they desire, that they feel like is impossible for them. They feel like, why does she get to have it? What is it about her? What is she, what's so special about her? What does she, do to deserve this? Did she earn it? They start really caring about worth and value. They want to try to determine your value, your worth. They want to basically grade you on a rubric to whatever it is that you've been able to bounce back from, whatever it is you've been able to benefit from, whatever type of growth you've experienced. They always want to talk about a past version of you. They can never talk about the current version of you. They can't pull up a picture of you now. They can't talk about the season that you're in now. They can't talk about your glow up, whatever you have going on right now. It's a past version. Or, sometimes they'll even try to magnify small details of your personality, small details of your life, or even just draw entire fake narratives. Those hate comments that you see under, influencers, IG models, celebrities, all these beautiful women out here doing things. Sometimes it is the incels, it is these men who wish that they could have access to these women, but won't. They hate that consent is a thing. They're like, man, I wish I could just grab you, bitch. But there's also, these women who, they want to project this guilt and shame onto the woman. Like, you should feel like this fame is dirty. You should feel like this fame is unsafe. You should feel like this platform brings harm to you. You should not, you don't deserve positivity. When you go and check your comment section, I want you to see things that make you feel upset or triggered or activated or unsafe or unworthy, because obviously you're in this season of life where you're feeling worthy. You look like you feel worthy. You look like you feel deserving. To me, I'm looking at you and I see that. That's how these women are feeling. And so, with this energy that they have, sometimes just leaving the hate comments and whatnot, it's not enough to scratch the itch of trying to make you feel shame and make you feel unworthy. Sometimes that's not enough to validate. They leave that nasty comment. They try to shame men about, desirability. They're real big into the desirability politics. They want to police other women and say, you shouldn't be desired. You don't really deserve to be desired because you did da-da-da-da back in the day. You made this mistake. You do this also. I'm playing the game like this and you're playing the game like that. So you don't deserve to be desired. So-and-so only desires you because it's a fetish. They only desire you because you're this color, because you have these features, because you have this skin tone, this hair texture. That's, your desirability is not, it's not real. It's not genuine. It shouldn't actually make you feel good. For these women, they have scarcity. They're very concerned when it comes to feeling feminine, to feeling beautiful, to feeling womanly, to feeling pretty and girly. That is something that, maybe due to inhumane words, maybe inhumane actions, maybe an inhumane childhood. Maybe they've taken in content that has inhumane messaging, and they've decided to react to that content by internalizing it. And then they want to flip it to you. They want to say things to you that are inhumane. They want to strip you of your humanity. They want you to not feel beautiful. They do not want you to, they don't feel like they feel, deserving and worthy of feeling beautiful, of feeling pretty and girly and worthy and held and contained and cared for and loved. And so a lot of times they're going to say, they're going to turn these things onto you, all these feelings that they have, these nasty, icky, sticky feelings. They're going to push them onto the pretty girl. So it's either going to be in the comment section. They're going to say something. I don't want you to feel desirable right now. I don't want you to feel sexy. I don't want you to feel beautiful. I don't want you to feel like a woman. I feel like a big, burly, big back bitch. I feel like a man. I feel like brother Noah. I want you to feel the same. I don't want you to feel dainty and pretty. I don't want you to feel like you're a preference and like you're desired. I don't want you to see girls who look like you everywhere doing amazing things, having amazing relationships, accomplishing great things in their careers, building amazing families, being happy and being safe and being influencers, getting their education, whatever it is. And you don't feel like you're at the bottom of society. I want to bring you down here with me. On some level, a lot of the unambiguous darker skinned Black women, every time they want to, and I'm going to make a whole video about this, so maybe I shouldn't even talk about this, but I'll tease it a little bit, they're always trying to claim somebody who doesn't look nothing like that, doesn't look anybody like them. They want the Zendayas of the world, the Meghan Markles of the world to be the face of Black excellence, but then get mad when Black excellence really should be renamed to exotical excellence. Like, if you really look through, like, the people who's really, like, on it all the time, and it's like, they always want to say that you're not Black enough, depending on how they feel. You got to be graded on a rubric that's based on, this random person on YouTube, random person on the internet, random Big Mac, gets to tell you how Black you are and whether or not your thoughts and opinions and feelings are valid. Yet, consistently, when you accomplish, then, oh, yep, that's mine. Let me get that win. Let me get that. That's Black. Yep, that's us. That's us. But I thought I was just a preference, though. Like, this should be preference excellence, exotical excellence. Why are you writing my coattails? Like, don't you have a better social climbing strategy? But I digress. Let me get back on topic, because I don't like to talk in tangents, or I don't like to. I just do, and I'm working on that. But, these women, when they can't get the satisfaction and the validation that they're craving deeply from, parasocial relationships, well, one, I'll talk a little bit more about parasocial relationships. With that, that's when you're going to see the crash outs. So that's when you see the blunt girlies, the Kia Rones. That's when you see, other things that with Harmony Simone's, other people, who are doing like this with celebrities. You have to be very careful when somebody feels extremely emotionally invested and disappointed and judgmental in a parasocial relationship, a woman that she doesn't necessarily know. I'm a big believer in, when it comes to parasocial relationships, I think it also plays a role how you see yourself. Like, do you see yourself as a permanently non-famous, identified, or permanently unknown, like nobody type of thing? Because if you don't, like, if you're on the rise or something like that, eventually your identity will shift to the point where it's like, well, these people are my peers. I'm an influencer. They're an influencer. We is influencers. So now I'm reaching out to another influencer, and everybody who now has millions and millions of supporters, followers, whatever, at one point they had how many you have right now. So at what point did they decide to say, yeah, this is my job. These other people are my peers. This is just me at year 1 versus they're at year 17, and when it comes to that, some people, I just think that you should be able to, reach out to different people and communicate. If you do feel like on a business sense, like you see them as a peer and whatnot, I think that that's healthier sometimes when you start to see certain people as a peer more so, because when you see them as a peer and you see them accomplishing things, I think it's easier to, when you're at that fork in the road, to go towards inspiration and motivation of like, oh, my peer, oh, the girlies are on it today. Like, the girlies are on it this year. 2026 is our year. Me and all of my peers. You had a win, period. Yes, you got that. Let me keep grinding, and I'm going to clap for you. And the next time, maybe if you see my win, maybe you'll clap for me. If you don't, I'm going to be clapping for me, and I'm going to still clap for you. And we just, like, this is the year of, like, you see it as peers, sisterhood. Like, a win for you is, a win for me, but in the same sense where, it feels free. It doesn't feel contained. It doesn't feel constricting. And like, somebody else is trying to express like control or take ownership over you. Not, when it comes to sisterhood and real genuine friendship, it's like, okay, you value this. So wins in your life look like this. So when you feel like you're winning, you're going to be looking for applause because you're a human. You want to feel you want to feel like people are in your corner. I'm a human. I know that, and I wouldn't be trying to be in your vicinity if I wasn't trying to be in your corner. I'm not trying to be around to be your adversary. So maybe I value slightly different things. Maybe I'm in a different season of my life. Maybe my win doesn't look like this in this season. Maybe if we were to measure, in this season, my win is going to look like this. In this season, your win is going to look like this, like what you need and what I need to feel like we are each individually winning. When it's really sisterhood and it's really friendship, it's, oh, I support that. That's your win. And I can't wait until you win on that. And I'm excited on that for you. And I'm focused on that. And I'm not going to control what the wins look like in your life. And I'm not going to try to shame you on what feels like a win in your life. And I'm not going to try to tell you how you have to win it. If you're not asking me, I'm not like, my win in my life is not less valid just because in your life, that's not the win you're looking for in this season or maybe ever. Like maybe I'm a mathlete and I want to do like some national mathlete shit. I don't know. And my friend does not care about my trophy for the mathlete stuff is not any less valid because my best friend does not give a fuck about that doesn't matter. That's not what the friendship is about. You don't have to have the same wins. But the issue is when somebody's not feeling validated in their life, they're not getting their own wins. Or maybe they're so out of touch with who they are, with what they desire. Maybe they desire it and they feel guilt and shame for desiring it. Maybe they don't feel worthy. Maybe they don't feel deserving. Maybe they they just have a lack mentality. Maybe they're like, there's only so much motion in the world. There's only so much shine, so much talent, so much, star power, so much money, only one person can have a win per season, per year. It's like, Rihanna had a win this year. I guess 2026 beyond, it belongs to Rihanna now. And now this person is, this type of woman, her energy now goes toward every time she's actively not moving towards her goals, she's moving herself further away, or she's just staying stagnant. She's, instead of course correcting and pivoting and analyzing and gaining self-awareness to herself, just let's, re-tactical, strategy, assimilate, whatever. Let's re-strategize. Let's just get our bearings, and then we're going to keep moving forward. We're going to figure out, what are we doing? What are we actually what's going on? And I'm going to do better in my life. Instead, she's going to spend all of 26 now hating on Rihanna. And when Rihanna pays her dust, because Rihanna don't give a fuck about her, because Rihanna doesn't know she exists, she's like, you know what? Even though I keep trying to convince you over there that you don't look nothing like Beyonce, you don't look nothing like Rihanna, you don't look nothing like Lisa Ray, you don't look nothing like the baddest of the baddest, you don't look nothing, you just a regular degular just like me or whatever. She's going to start trying to gain proximity to you, because as she's trying to gaslight you about your identity, your perception, your skin tone, your features, your hair texture, your multiculturalism, your family, your background, your privileges, your access, what you deserve, your worth, what you owe her, how you need to identify all those things, she's going to sneak up like a sneaky snake. A sneaky snake. She's going to come up into your life, and all she wants to do is just, she's got a couple objectives, honestly, You have to think, she has been having this energy that's been building in her every time she left a hate comment on, an influencer. I've even seen crazy situations where it's not situations, but something on TikTok a while ago. I'm trying to think of what it was, but it was this girl who was it was viral. She was, she had a hate comment on something. It might have been an interracial relationship or something like that. But she saw the comment, and then TikTok told her oh, this person is in your contacts. it will be stuff like that. People making a burner account to send you hate or whatever, smile in your face, sending you hate behind your back type of stuff. And it's like, that just is what comes with the pedestal. Sometimes you have to be aware. But the friendship aspect is hard because it's like they can come towards you and sometimes you just don't really know how to recognize what exactly it is. Sometimes you're like, I don't want to be vain. I don't want to say like, hop on this scale and let's see if, let's check your BMI first. Let's get your height and weight and figure out, if we can be friends. Let's do the official hair typing system and let's just figure out what hair texture you have and I have. Let's grab a brown paper bag and let's just see, you're really just trying to like make friends. Like you're just out here trying to like meet people, just trying to live and navigate and explore and, have buddies to do hobbies with. It doesn't have to be that deep. That's not like how the world operates. It's not 100%, but there are other things you can look for, I feel as though a big thing for me is like, there is this energy where a woman is looking for validation for her beliefs. She doesn't have some sort of outlet for that. I think that online communities are really great for this. Of course, people are going to call everything a cult or an echo chamber, anything like that. I think that is a human need, to go places where your thoughts are like maybe a common thought sometimes. I don't think you need to exist there and only be there, but I think it is okay to have that need pop up in you and say like, I have this thought. I want this thought to be validated. I'm not looking to argue about it. I don't want my mind changed. I want to go to this thought echo chamber and I want to go to like, it's okay to do that sometimes. Like sometimes I don't want to debate about it. Sometimes I don't want to talk about it. Like I love to debate, but sometimes I don't want to. It's okay to say like, you know what? I want to talk about how cool Pilates is. I'm going to go talk to my friends who do Pilates. I'm going to go find a Pilates online group and talk to them. I have a meme. Like your boyfriend doesn't have to understand the Pilates meme. Your coworker doesn't have to understand it. Your cousin, your mama doesn't have to. Sometimes we force these things on our relationships. But I think that oftentimes when you have the pretty woman, the woman who's more lit, she's leveled up, she's enjoying her season of life. You often are in that season because you have found or you are finding and cultivating and nurturing your spaces. You know how to assess and identify when you have certain needs in your body. You feel like your needs are not invalid and you know how to get them met. You speak up for what you want, you get it, you cultivate your life strategically so that through your relationships with men and women, you are receiving these things from work, family, friends, acquaintances, hobbies, neighbors, neighborhood, community, dating, all that good stuff, pets. You're getting all the needs met, all of the things. You've got it. Online community, you need that. You need a book club, you need that. Okay, you need a cooking class. Okay, you need this. Whatever it is, you just go get it. You want to like dye your hair, you just go dye it. You want to go shopping, you just go shopping. You want to change, you want to move, whatever you got to do. You're not constantly deeply seeking and craving to be validated on things, which that's a need. It's not a want. It is a need. And so these women who are not getting their needs met because men are not validating them by giving them the type of treatment that they want, the type of treatment that you're getting, they want, and they feel like they should get to look like them and get treated like you. So they're being invalidated there. And then in the media, sometimes there's different types of media. They'll feel validated in media that amplifies and pedestalizes, and centers women that they can see themselves in, like the most recent season of Bridgerton, if you watched it, pissed me the fuck off. I hated that last season of Bridgerton. Oh my God. Because I did not see myself in Penelope. And I felt like up to that, I thought we was on a certain type of like, I thought, I don't know, like, it's like, obviously, like, you shouldn't be pedestalized in TV and media anyways, but it's like that last season of Bridgerton, as a certain type of woman, I think that ate that up with Penelope as the main character. I think it's got to be a certain type of woman who sees themselves in Penelope who ate that up. I ain't eat none of that. I was not happy with what I was served, Netflix, but I digress. if they're not being validated in the media, even when they get validated in little bursts in the media, they know it's not real. They're like, this is Wattpad. This is like, I'm trying to think, because I don't know about all those different, like, I heard of all those steamy things. I never participated, but I've heard of those, the names of what people call them. What else? Whatever they call them, like the fanfics and stuff like that. They know it's not real though, or there's different types of women who may consume that content. If they're the type of woman who knows that this only exists in their life for a woman like her as she reads the book, versus another type of woman, she may read something like that, but she's like, yeah, I see myself in this character. I'm not aspirationally necessarily looking to her. It's like, oh, her dating experiences mirror mine. Her weight mirrors mine. Her lifestyle mirrors mine. Her, the possibilities that I feel like are open to her mirror mine. I don't feel like, oh, if only I could be like this girl. That's the only thing holding me back from this treatment. They're, in order to cope with that unmet need, they'll oftentimes be coming to you. And, whether directly or indirectly, they want to start eroding your sense of self-trust and your routines and, your values. They want to actually make you question. They want to make you question why you want the things you want, why. And it's like, it's not like I'm smoking. Am I smoking crack? Like, I just thought I wanted to be like kind of pretty. I just wanted to do my girly thing. Like, you will be bothering nobody. And they're hella triggered because you just, even in some of the videos that have gone up recently, I've seen, these viral videos, everybody's talking about how light-skinned women, these evil light-skinned women, are so uppity and they have to do nothing to get this princess treatment from men. All they have to do is just stand on the wall and men come and approach them and everything. And it's like, I mean, me personally, if I was just thinking about like maybe puppies, and like there was one that was like kind of tripping and snarling, like, you better come pick me up right now, nigga. Like, I don't think I'm picking up that puppy. If there's another one that's literally like just kind of just chilling and they're not even pressed, like they don't have like a sense of like insecurity about whether or not they're going to get picked. I'm probably going to pick the one that don't care if they get picked or whatever. Which is like, if it's your calling to go and rehabilitate romantic partners emotionally, that's fine. That's okay. I do strongly believe that there are some things I do believe in, like, not mutual healing, but there are certain wounds that I think are best healed within the context of a healthy relationship, different types of relationship, friendship, familial or romantic. But you do have to be careful, and it does take just strategy. And I think learning when a woman is just an acquaintance. I think as women, we rush women to becoming our friends too quickly. Like, Keisha didn't do nothing yet. What are you and Keisha going to talk about? And it's like, especially when you're the pretty woman, one of the issues we have with friendship is that we have women who have these unmet needs, who are walking around, who, to cope, want to control our decisions, our sex lives, our dating lifestyles, like our dating strategies, our diets, our routines. I don't take kindly to that. Like, that is like a hard boundary that I form with people, as far as like, my life is geared towards my goals and what I want. And you're not going to be in my life like, girls, when it come over to your house or whatever, you're trying to eat something, she's hating on how you look whole time. She wouldn't be like, what is that, when you're trying to eat something whole time? What you're eating is your skincare or something like that. You're eating this shit that got you looking so good, looking so fine. Like, it's like, I'm not putting up with that energy. Like, I'm not putting up with childish energy. Sometimes maybe it's like a cultural thing, but I really just put it to a lack of education thing. I'm not like gonna defend my food choices. I'm not defending, like, it's just hard because, we don't want to be perceived as being mean. And I think that's going to be one of the biggest things they're going to have to get over if you want to like stop struggling so much with female friendships, because it's like the best friends are not going to be so sensitive to always thinking that you're being mean to them. Like, they're not always, they don't get triggered when they see a girl like you and like they start thinking of their childhood bully, or they start thinking of like Rihanna, who was paying them dust when she was in her comments trying to hate on her, and she literally was busy spending her billions of dollars of money on shit that she likes for herself and her family. And you're not going to represent this woman who's chosen over her consistently in society and trigger her. So you're not going to have to walk on eggshells. She's not pressed with trying to come to you, and she has this deep sense of needing to be validated by seeing you maybe get the same outcome she feels like she gets. There are some women where their favorite stories that you tell are your struggle stories. They love when you talk about like the time that things didn't work out with a guy. They love when you talk about that time that you got bullied. They love it so much. It's like their favorite thing. Not because they're like dealing with it themselves and they're like, hey, like, how do I navigate this? Like, I look up to you and it's like, you seem like you moved through this. Like, I'm on a similar path. Like, girl, like, I'm in the trenches. How did you make it out? It's like, they don't they don't see. The reason it's not the same thing is because they're not going to empathize with you and your pain. They're going to feel like, what's wild to me is just thinking of situations like before I became so strict and started running the strict program that I do now. It's like realizing like, yo, you were my op in my house is crazy. You were smiling at my pain and misfortune on my couch. What? Is like literally like, oh my God. And it's like, ooh, thank you. I'm not religious, but thank you, Jesus, I've been delivered, because there's no fucking way I would ever again. Like, you do have to make people prove themselves a bit. Like, that's how it should be. And if anybody ever is feeling really uncomfortable with the pacing that you're giving them for the amount of access they get over time to your life, it should raise hella red flags, because it's like, obviously, if they're approaching you, you have something that they want. And if they don't feel like they should have to pay to get that from you through proving competence or proving loyalty or proving authenticity or proving safety, proving trust, whatever it is, being able to get your decision, like your acceptance of that. Like, nobody should just feel entitled to your friendship. They should, like, that's a weird ass friend that you ain't even give a fuck if I wanted to be your friend. You just wanted me to be your friend because you wanted to be my friend. And then you just decided we was friends. You didn't even give a fuck if you didn't even care if I wanted to be your friend. That's weird. That's weird. Like, look back on those situations if you've ever had one where it was really one-sided, where it was like, what was you attracted to about me as a friend? Because I didn't know you existed, and you came on hella strong. I didn't know who you were. I hate to sound ridiculous, but I don't know who this woman is. Like, really on that type of time. Not on some Mariah Carey, I don't know you, which is like, I love Mariah Carey, no shade to her. But it's like, it's not on some like, oh, I know who you are, but like, I don't fucking know who you are because you crossed me, bitch, type of thing. It's really just like, oh, I just don't even know who you are. Like, I don't even know you. And it's like, oh, like, you know me, you've been studying me for a minute. That's weird. That's creepy. And, I think that you just have to be careful with people, because something that I think is very different, like mentorship is a very different thing. You're not entitled to be a mentor to anything. There's different types of relationships people can have, but, and you're entitled to not want to be in certain types. Like, as a pretty girl, you will have people who want you to, like, slick, be their free anything. They're free pulling the men, like, when you're going out. There's different types of situations you can end up in. They'll say that pretty women use uglier women or bigger women to look better. But it's like, bitch, I don't need to be next to you to look better. I already looked better. You was over there on the other side of the room. I was on this side of the room. The man was in the middle. He seen you over there. He already knew that I looked better. I ain't had to stand next to you to look better. I already looked better. And it's not even that you're male centered or anything, but it's like they'll have these male centered talking points when it's like the friend, it doesn't even have to do, like you're already in competition mindset. You're already in this hypothetical mode of like, well, I'm gonna have to do all this work to get attention, and she's not going to have, like, I'm not playing that game with you. Like, I like to have fun. Like, I like to look for little markers of things that show to me that a girl and myself may have similar things in common, maybe through your accessories or something, or maybe even through products that you use. I know for me, like, a purse and like heels is a big one. Even like the style of the heels, like the colors the girl will wear and stuff like that. Might make me think different things. Maybe even like her nails and stuff. Like, if she had like the super duper, like super long nails, I'm like with all the like crazy stuff, I might think she's a little bit more into hip hop culture, which I'm not super into. But if she just kind of has her nails done, I might just think like, oh, maybe she's a little bit more girly. Maybe she's a little bit more into maintenance. Like, even if she was never like a cool friend, maybe it's just like saying like, oh, maybe we could go get our nails done together. Maybe we could talk about nail polish. Maybe we could talk about manicures. Like, it could really, like, but sometimes girls, maybe sometimes you are trying to give to a relationship and you're approaching it, just looking at the evidence of like, well, it looks like from my assessment, what we have in common is this. So we could talk about this. I don't need to talk to you about my relationship. Like, I don't need to talk to you about my food. I can just talk to you about nail polish. I can just talk to you about this job while we're at this job. Some of these women, they're walking around with these deep unmet needs. And so it's like you're just trying to talk about nail polish. You're just trying to pass her off a document at work. And she wants to be deeply validated for her politics at 8 a.m. She wants to be deeply validated for like her sense of undesirability, or her fear of being perceived as masculine, her fear of being rejected and abandoned in society and everything like that. She wants to talk about that, and she wants your validation on that, like, right now. Like, and it's an urgent need, and it comes out really fast. So that's one way you can see it doesn't kind of bleed out over time with like shared vulnerability. Like, hey, like, it is something that I struggle with, here and there. And it's like, that's something I'm working on. Like, it doesn't come out as like this brave vulnerability over time. It comes out quickly. Like, I need this need met quickly. I'm trying to pass judgment on the way you live your life quickly. I'm trying to gain access to the pretty girl quickly. I want to hang out and come to your home quickly. I want to go out quickly. Let's go on a trip. Girl, don't let the girls trip get you. You won't come back. Let's go on a girls trip quickly. Let's go on a girls trip far away. Let's share a trip on the girls trip. Bitch, I don't know you like that. And it's like, what if I want to play with my Kuda cat? Like, who said we're sleeping in the room together? You need to be careful and safe and just think about like what's a normal healthy pace for things to develop and what's not. What are healthy ways to discuss? What are boundaries around conversation? People should be able to be around you and not know all your business. You should be able to yap and yap and yap and have people still don't really know the most intricate, inner workings of your life and of your mind. It's good to be able to keep things to yourself and just see, if you are a little bit more private, or if if access to your details about your life, your history, your past, and all of that needs to be gained over time in general. That's how you are. Like, you're good at pacing and everything. That you don't just like trauma dump on people. Just here's everything. You set a good pacing and everything. Is she putting up some resistance to that? Like, why you feel like, why you don't want to tell, like, you should have been told me all your deepest, darkest secrets already, because I'm trying to weaponize them against you, like, and you didn't tell me yet. And I don't actually want to be your friend, which is why I'm trying to rush you to get to my objective of being able to strategize about you and figure out your inner workings and figure out all your buttons to push. It's going to feel weird. It's going to be that girl who was like, we best friends. Wait, what's your name again? Who are you? Like, I'm telling you, there's mental illness. So sometimes it's that, but it's like, people don't get a pass for mental illness. People don't get a pass for neurodivergence, anything like that, trauma. No, you don't get a pass, because I'm somebody who deals with those things. Doesn't give me a pass. Doesn't give other people a pass. But this is one of the deep things that makes it hard, these unmet needs that are just, these women who are walking around. And it's like you're naturally more open as the pretty girl. You don't want to feel like you're being too exclusive. You don't want to feel like you're being too bougie, too uppity. You don't want to feel like, but I'm telling you, every time you don't do that, most of the time it's going to backfire on you. Like, I have so many stories where it's like, yeah. And it's, things come out over time. I'm working on recording some Patreons. Actually, I think after this, I'm going to record some so that I can stay on this topic, on this energy, and give more specific details about things that I've been through and put you on games for a little tea. So if you like the spicier type of content, the more like in-depth stuff, of course, come over to our naughty tea party over on Patreon. Sometimes I post something that's just a little spicier, something that's a little bit like, I think that maybe I don't know who all watches this channel, so I'm like, hey, let me just, put this over here. That way, if you want this, you can come on over. But most recent episodes, I'm talking about SMEX, I'm talking about attachment styles, divorce, dating, relationship goals, all that stuff. I want to talk about friendship. I plan to talk about things like, there's a lot that I want to talk about lately. Like, I'm definitely planning to talk more about like work, friendship, dating, SMEX, kink, stuff like that. Just like stuff that I don't necessarily always want to talk about over here. I definitely like to put up story times, and sometimes if there's just something that I feel like is a little like dark psychology or just like a little bit like, a little PG-13, a little 18 plus something, I'll put it over there just because it's like over here I don't like always having to censor or whatever. I feel like it kind of breaks up the flow of me chatting, but I'm really thankful that you guys are here listening. Like, I've been wanting to record this for a while, but I was like, I don't really always know, like, some of these types of topics can ruffle some feathers because sometimes as I'm describing different archetypes as you listen, you may recognize yourself in one or the other. And I'm not saying anything necessarily to provoke or to, grade you on a rubric. I'm not asking, which friend are you? Are you the dusty friend who's who's the secret spy? I'm not trying to ask you that, but I'm just saying more so examine your past friendships, examine your current friendships, and just, check in with yourself. Like, do you feel like it's a mutual pouring in? Do you feel like everything has developed naturally and safely and at a comfortable pace? Or do you feel like maybe somebody's trying to get some intel on me? Maybe they're acting a little bit entitled to information about me, like kind of like slow your roll. But I'm loving trying to be back and be more consistent. I hope this year is treating you all so well. And as always, until next time, worldies, eyes on the prize.